Hey everybody, Mitch Jackson. Welcome to Human.Social. Anthony, is my video frozen again? I'm jumping up and down. I'm jumping up and down and waving my hands.
It's choppy. It's definitely choppy.
That doesn't work for me because I want to share you with the world.
Right.
And we expect nothing but excellence. That's just the way you and I roll. Here's what I'd like to do. For some reason, you guys, and this is on me, it's my bad, but I'm going to make it up to you. My guest today is Anthony Small. He is the executive director of Music Preserves Foundation. And Anthony, what we're going to do is I am going to ask you, because I know your video is working, to share a little song with us. It's a little tease so that when we do go back, maybe next week on a new time and date, they're going to know what you're bringing to the table. How's that sound?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
And I would love for you to go ahead, and Anthony's got a little treat for us. And once you're done, we'll go ahead and sign off and reschedule the show. But Anthony, it's all yours.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you very much. This song is for all of us. Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crowned thy good brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Beautiful, for glory tale of liberating strife, when once and twice for man's avail men lavish precious life. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, till selfish gain no longer stains the banner of the free. Till selfish gain no longer stains the banner of the free.
I love it. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you so much. That's exactly what my community needs to hear right now. And Peter Gorell out of Canada, I'd say that was pretty appropriate. And cheers. Thank you, Peter. And thank you, Anthony.
I enjoyed Peter on your on the show recently on your show.
Isn't he fantastic? I'm so glad that was crossed in life. And it looks like I just got a message, just so you know, that it's Cox Communications, everyone. We're having some challenges here in our neighborhood. So I've got some neighbors watching this, Anthony. Yeah. And maybe it just was fixed because it seems to be working just fine now.
It seems to be working fine. And let's be nice to Cox Communication because they're a partner of Music Preserves Foundation.
Absolutely. My go-to service. Okay. I'm telling you guys, once COVID hit, I'm like, let's double down on the speed because you're going to keep Team Jackson running full speed ahead. So why don't we just go ahead and keep moving forward? And let me give Anthony a proper introduction. We go back a long ways, I think, to when our kids were in elementary school together. But he's the executive director of the Music Preserves Foundation, the culture commissioner of the city of Dana Point, beautiful city here on the West Coast in South Orange County. He's also a columnist for the Dana Point Times and a popular singer-songwriter with one of our more popular local bands, The Small World. So, Anthony, it's good to see you today.
Yeah. I'm very happy to be on the show. I always enjoy your guests, whether they're, Super Bowl champions or, even on the legal side of the table as well, when you're talking about intellectual property and staging in the courtroom. And, one of my favorite episodes was when you had the screen lawyer, Pete Salich, on.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Isn't
yeah.
Pete a great guy? You guys connected afterwards,
We
didn't
did. We absolutely did. And I'm glad that he's recovering from
you?
his
It's
his and
public.
his family's battle with COVID. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's definitely changed the way that that everyone goes about their personal and their personal business. It's hit my family very hard, and we just lost a cousin of mine this last weekend, and
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, and it's the reality of the situation right now. There's a young man with with children in 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, and we have to be safe, and I think that businesses have done all that they can to continue to stay in contact with their audience. One of Music Preserve's partners is the Ocean Institute, and their Tall Ships Festival. Music Preserves, well, basically, first off, Music Preserves, we, myself and my co-founder, Patty Compton, we founded Music Preserves it almost exactly 2 years ago is when we launched it. And actually we sort of sat at a breakfast table with you and
We
discussed,
did.
some of the ins and outs and some of the things that we wanted to do, and got your take on if you thought it would be of value to the community.
And what is it? And what is it, Anthony? And you know
Sure.
what? Before I let you answer that question, let me just first
Yeah.
invite everyone. If you guys have questions you would like to run by Anthony about music, about what's going on in Dana Point, what's going on in music, different ideas. If you guys have questions. Oh, I heard myself audio. Oh, that's you and the guitar. I love that. Text them over to 949-577-7456. I will try to get your questions answered. Also, do me a favor. While Anthony and I are chatting, please share your comments and questions from your favorite social media platform. You can also share out on social media. We'd love to get as many people as possible. I've already got a lot of questions coming in via text, so this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
But Anthony, tell us a little bit about what is the Music Preserves Foundation?
Sure. First off, our mission is to inspire and educate our community through the preservation and presentation of music. And what we try to do through our programs in the schools, specifically with Capistrano Unified School District, and we hope to do it with many other school districts, and we have plans to do so. We look to add a multicultural layer in schools to U.S. history. So it just follows the timeline. My partner, Patty Compton, has created a wonderful program, again, that gives kids, and in community events, big kids like you and I, this cultural multicultural perspective on U.S. history. So if instead of just the titans of industry and the wars and those types of things, we follow along and talk about the birth of the blues and rock and roll and jazz, and just follow the timeline with the perspective of musicians. And I just think that those types of perspectives, students are, literally protesting, asking for those types of viewpoints. And we've been, Capistrano Unified School District, gave us the opportunity to, before COVID, obviously, to go into the classrooms and share these stories with the kids. And they immediately, we're not teaching them music, but we're teaching them music history. And we're teaching them by the end of 10 half hours, 10 modules, these kids knew, almost like the old name that tune game, in a second or two, they knew that's blues, that's rock and roll, that's jazz, that's country music, but more importantly, they knew and saw the worth of these different perspectives. We had, one of my favorite stories is we were talking about the birth of rock and roll and talking about Elvis Presley, and most of the kids did know him, and we played Hound Dog, and it's a multimedia presentation, so we played Hound Dog, but then we played Big Mama Thornton's Hound Dog, the original, and so the kids are sitting out in front of us. These are fifth graders, and there's these girls sitting in a row, and one kind of elbows the other, and then they raise their hand, and so after they see Big Mama Thornton's version, so you mean to tell me that the guy they call the king of rock and roll stole the song from a woman? And then the girl sitting next to her goes, not just a woman, a black woman, and Patty and I looked at each other and just like that. I mean,
that's history.
That's history, and that just made a difference, and they could see that everybody's viewpoint counts. Everybody has contributed to to American culture, and so we also like to do that at the music festivals. Dana Point and South Orange County have wonderful music festivals. We launched 2019 at the Doheny Blues Festival, which has been a part of South Orange County and Dana Point for 20 years, and we had our own beautiful stage thanks to the support of the community, and we talked about women in blues, the history of blues, international blues, the next generation of blues, and we had authors and artists, and we'd have 80 or 100 people sitting in these seats, and then I'd hop down and ask, if anybody had any questions, and they'd pay respect to Rod Piazza and the Mighty Flyers, or have questions for, Jim Garno, a manager of some very great and significant bands, and also an author. And they'd have these questions, and it'd go on, and I'm like, this next generation of arts patrons and those that have a thirst for this cultural perspective is not just those kids, it's our community at large. And that was sort of a validation right out of the gates that it was needed, and for me, it was an extension of my participation, with the City of Dana Point's Arts and Culture Commission. And, there we create programs and promote local artists, and especially young artists, like from Dana Hills High School and other Capistrano Unified schools, and have these visual artists be the back page of the recreation guide, the Lookout, or display their art at City Hall or the community center, and currently, you may have seen around town the utility boxes, and they're covered, wrapped in this beautiful art with very accomplished artists, but also students as well have a chance to display their art. So
can I ask you a question about that?
Absolutely, man. Because
I've got a couple of questions coming in,
Sure.
And I want to give context to what you're talking about and what you will be talking about. Absolutely. But so a couple of people have asked, because when we talk about music, I'm smiling on the inside. I wish I could sing. I wish I could play. I'm just not good at that. You are. Listening
Thanks.
to you and watching all the good things you're doing in the community, it just makes me smile, and we need more of this in the world. A couple of questions came in. What got you interested in music, Anthony? In other words, where did this passion start, and how has it built up over the years that has led you to what you're doing today? That's a great question. Yeah,
that's a great question. Thank you very much, for asking it. From the very start, I guess, as a kid, growing up, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, on my mom's side of the family. So I called them affectionately Abuelita and Abuelito. And they were very involved in their community, in helping to organize the laborers, that were working in the groves, or in the packing houses and what have you, and helping them with their taxes, and in some cases their citizenship. They had a baseball team, and they literally added on to their house to have a almost like a party room, a bar. It had a TV and a couple of guitars, and just I noticed that same thing, the gathering around music, and the smiles that it put on people's faces, and so as an extension of that, my dad, he has the most wonderful collection of albums, and his taste is very eclectic. And he had this killer stereo and reel to reel, but I mean, I was able to listen to the Beach Boys, the aforementioned King of Rock and Roll, Elvis Presley, Herb Alpert, John Coltrane and Miles Davis, even Cher, just we're all over the board, and I could feel the music, because of the quality of the stereo, I guess, and it moved me emotionally as well too. And then I'd go into my room and I'd have a little 45, player, and I'd grab a little baseball bat or hairbrush or whatever it was, and sing along to whether it was the Beatles or who knows what it was, but I always connected that way, and so I guess that's probably where it started from the start, and you described it perfectly. Like, it makes you smile on the inside.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, and just connects emotionally. So later on, at San Diego State, kind of having a band, the fraternity, band.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
You had a band at the frat house. You were in a fraternity, and you played in a band.
Yeah. So
we can
here's
have a whole separate show just about
absolutely. Yeah. So this is at San Diego State, Delta Upsilon. And so I also need to be very fair and clear about, we have these big parties, the TGIF parties every Friday, and the bands would come in, and it was basically a condition that you had to play Billy Idol's White Wedding and, a couple other songs. And so I would join them. And then it just, evolved to where I was getting to do, sets of music, etc. And it wasn't until years later that that I had my own band. But I was always interested in music, and became interested in writing music. Out of college, I worked in minor league baseball for the San Diego Padres single A team in the California League. It was owned by the great George Brett and his brothers.
Really?
And
really? What did you do for them? What did you do?
So I was everything on everything on this side of the foul lines, right? So after 4 years of that career, I was an assistant general manager. So we were selling, the outfield billboards and the corporate sponsorship of the in-game promotions and those types of things. And to go to the community and say, hey, we're going to gather here. Do you want to be a part of it? Whether it's season tickets or for businesses promoting these things. And it's actually where I met my wife. It's where I met Bonnie, and we'll be married 30 years this, in March, if she'll have me till then.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
That's quite an accomplishment, especially here in California.
Yeah. So, but even there though, I sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" with the kids, remotely every game, sang the national anthem, had the opportunity to sing it at the big league level as well. And so music has always been a part of, what
I love that.
What I do. So that's a long way around that question.
No, it seems like that's the case oftentimes with musicians. And I was wondering what type of influence you had in your family. I think everyone would get a kick out of the fact that before you got involved with the city of Dana Point and with the Music Preserves Foundation, I think the first time I met and saw you was at an elementary school party where your band Small World was playing. And I was thinking to myself, these guys are really good. Like, these guys are really good. I guarantee, and I told Lisa, I guarantee one of their kids goes to this school.
Absolutely.
That's the only way we got this band here, right? And then Anthony and I, we stayed in touch. I think a little baseball's talk back and forth, mutual friends. But it's led you full circle to what you're doing today. And you were sharing with us, and I'll get to your questions, everyone, just bear with me, because they'll fit in exactly with how Anthony and I know the topic of conversation is going to go. But, it led you to being the executive director of the Music Preserves Foundation, also getting involved at the city of Dana Point level. You started to talk about some of the things that you do as the culture commissioner, and with the Doheny Blues Festival that happens every year. I guess a couple of questions were, what is it like working? We have some young students and musicians watching.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So how did you get the position, or what's it like working for the city and promoting music and culture? And then the follow-up question is, in Dana Point, what are the plans for any outdoor festivals moving forward in 2021? Two good questions.
Yeah, those are great questions. And in my role on the City of Dana Point's Arts and Culture Commission, we report to the City Council, and it is a volunteer position. I've been on that council, and was recently the chairperson of it. I've been on the council, or the commission rather, for 3 years.
Don't let me distract you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's fine.
I didn't want to distract you. I'm just going to put up comments as you
Yeah,
talk.
no, that's cool. That's totally cool. So actually, if it's all right with you, we kind of backtrack to that time, at the PTA's year-end party when I first met you. So my wife was a PTA president at Malcolm Elementary, and then also at the middle school and Dana Hills High School as well. And in those days, I could not understand, and maybe even, resented how much time and her passion, as she was creating her board, with those ladies and gentlemen, that was her band. That was her way to connect and create her community. And thankfully the light came on, but I definitely knew that the community respected her. And when she got breast cancer, and she's, a survivor, but the community was there for us. And that's something I will never forget. But, she asked me to be on, when the kids were in high school, to be on her committee on the Reflections Arts chairman. So that got me interfacing with Capistrano Unified School District, and then with the Arts and Culture Commission. And I didn't immediately make it onto the commission, but there were people on there that I respected and wanted to learn from. And the councilman and the mayor at that time, Joe Miller, he encouraged me. He knew and saw what I was doing and how I wanted to encourage young people, especially. And I had the opportunity then to get on that.
And it's interesting to hear your journey, because a lot of times I think, especially some of the younger business owners and entrepreneurs, they want to go from point A to point Z. Right. In their mind, and oftentimes our journeys are one step at a time, right? From an elementary school playground to the city of Dana Point over X amount of years.
Yeah, exactly. Over 10 years or whatever it was. But, at that time, and like my band, it's a local band. We play some original songs, but, we're a local band. But for us to get to play the city of Dana Point's legendary Concerts in the Park series, Summer Concerts in the Park, in front of 5,000 of our neighbors, and I'm standing next to my next door neighbor of 20 years, Vito Franconi, as the lead. He's the lead guitarist of the band, and it's just such a blessing from that little. It's the dreams come true of that little, the little guy who was in the bedrooms, singing to a hairbrush or what have you. So
or on stage in the backyard of your frat house down in San Diego. Tell everyone a little bit about those concerts in the park for those that haven't been. And by the way, we're broadcasting around the world, so for those that don't live here, describe that environment, that atmosphere, because it's pretty special.
It is extremely special. So, and not just when I'm on stage. So this gives me the opportunity to, shout out to the city's recreation department and Sherry Murphy. She's the one who puts those on. She curates the bands. And there's usually a local flavor as an opener. And then, oftentimes, a tribute band or something like that. But I mean, even the Dana Point, Symphony has been, participated in that, but you have, many vendors and tents, and I mean, literally 5,000 people are coming for 6 weekends in a row, over the summer, and you have the Rotary with their tent, you have the Marine Support Group, and others, you know, kind of selling refreshments and those types of things. But people are out there at 6 a.m. laying their blankets and umbrellas out to get that, you know, that
awesome.
That, you know, to get their spot for that. So yeah, that's a wonderful program. And, you know, a couple of years, the Arts and Culture Commission got to curate our own weekend of that. And it's a very special thing, and something that I know that the city is very proud of, and rightfully so, you know. And like I said, for me personally, I'm so happy that's in our backyard, and to have been able to have the opportunity a couple, 3 times, you know, to be on that stage. It's just, you know, you couldn't write it. It's, you know, so the Arts and Culture Commission, you know, meets on a monthly basis or every other month. And I knew that that's what I wanted to do full time. And so that's what happened, where I decided to jump in with both feet with my partner, Patty Compton, who had done some PR work with the Doheny Blues Festival. And then with the city council, specifically Mayor Miller's encouragement, we met and we brought kids backstage, you know, high school music students, to meet these artists 10 minutes after they've rocked the Doheny Blues Festival is thousands of people. And the same thing at the Eddie Vedder's Ohana Festival, you know, 25,000 people. These bands are rocking.
And where's the venue, Anthony? Let everybody know where the venue is.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That's pretty special too.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's at Doheny State Park, the Ohana Festival in particular. And so Eddie Vedder likes to say, you know, here he is on stage there, where he learned to surf at Doheny, and he's curating all the various, you know, world famous, you know, bands, on a yearly basis. It's become a wonderful tradition, and something that I know that the, you know, Cal Parks is you know, is proud of, and obviously Live Nation is a wonderful partner for the community as well. But you know, these kids, these high school students, they're a little nervous at first, but they're sitting at the, you know, backstage at the picnic tables, and next thing you know, here come the artists, like Lucas Nelson and Promise of the Real, you know, Johnny Lang, Allman Betts band, and they're sitting down and they say, "Oh, what instrument did you play in the high school band?" "I played this." And then the kids relax, and then they talk about, "Yeah, this kid looks, or this person in our band looks super cool with the long hair and the tattoos and jewelry, Berklee College of Music." And she went to UC Berkeley, and he learned from his dad. Of course, that was Lucas Nelson, and Willie Nelson is his dad, you know.
Wow.
But they shared those experiences, and the fact that it's not A to Z, that they shared their journeys. So when we weren't able to go backstage and do those things, then Music Preserves created this 4-episode program where, you know, exactly like this, where we had the artists on sharing their stories, you know, and one of them was Corey McCormick, the bassist for Lucas Nelson and Promise of the Real. And backstage, he's like, "I love what you're doing. If you ever need help or you want me to go," and I called him up, and man, he was there for us. And I hope that we'll awesome. we'll do a lot more. And then during those episodes, we would finish them with a student who had submitted their YouTube links. So with the students, a music video, and in most of the cases it was about COVID, and you know, or the anxiety of COVID, or having missing their friends, or so to give that platform to the kids right after this guy who was the bassist for Neil Young as well. You know, that's what I want to do. I want to encourage and give these perspectives that, you know, that I would have loved to have as an adult and these days. So I really appreciate the fact that you're letting me,
oh, absolutely.
You know, share it with your audience.
I've wanted to do this for so long, and I'm glad that we were able to finally get this on calendar. You know, so you are doing that. You're walking your talk. A couple of questions have to do with 2021. Does it look like we'll have some concerts this year, or do you think it's going to be 2022?
So those things obviously those are decisions that are made by people way above, way above me. The last things, I mean, I'm very in tune to that, because that's one of the main things that, how we connect to the community,
Right.
with Music Preserves Foundation, et cetera. And so, this week, Dr. Fauci said that hopefully by the fall that we would be able to do those types of things. So,
Okay.
I think that that's, you have to defer to those experts and the decision makers at the city and county and Cal Parks and things. So I'm hopeful, man. Everybody's got to do their part. And, these days with the political climate and 2020 was a hell of a year, and not being able to connect as we usually do, music helped me through that, and again helped, we were able to use that online formats to be part of the Ocean Institute's programs and things. So yeah,
I got a question for you. A friend of mine from New York's asking. I think he's on Periscope. You guys, we're broadcasting live, you guys, to Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the different platforms. My blog. So ask your questions, and they'll get pushed through to me.
Yeah.
But did 2020, as a songwriter, as a musician, did 2020 inspire any songs? Have you written any new songs in 2020? Ooh,
yeah,
I like that.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, both of, yes, the answer is yes. And I'd like to play one for you,
We would like to hear one.
Yeah. So
if you're up for it, please go for it.
Yeah, I'll do it right now. So this song was really kind of like finished, I guess, if you will. And, or we took it to the next level in 2020, and it's called "You Seem Like a Nice Girl." And over my shoulder here, I was actually given a gift for Christmas from my son Kyle's girlfriend. I wrote this song about my mother-in-law, BJ Milne, who battled Alzheimer's for over 10 years, and it's from, and we had a lot of that on my side of the family as well. So it's from the perspective of the person with Alzheimer's who doesn't necessarily recognize when their wife or daughter or what have you come in, but they recognize the love. And so it's called "You Seem Like a Nice Girl." And I know that a lot of people relate to it, because unfortunately that's a part of, more and more families have that. Everyone's battling something, whether it's Alzheimer's, anxiety, addiction, all of those types of things. But this one goes out to, anybody who's missing someone, or, or has had Alzheimer's and had to, give care to a family member. So, so here we go. This one's called "You Seem Like a Nice Girl." Can't remember what you said, or what it is, or what it does, but it kind of filled a hole. The type of person that can walk into a room and light it up, the sunlight in the soul. You seem like a nice girl. Oh, I really love your smile. Oh, you remind me of someone I used to know. Haven't seen her for a while. Now and then when I look back at all the times you said we'd had, I wish that I was there. And even though I don't recall the time or place or pretty face, doesn't mean that I don't care. You seem like a nice girl. Oh, I really love your smile. Oh, you remind me of someone I used to know. Oh, haven't seen her for a while. You seem like a nice girl. Oh, I really love your smile. Oh, you remind me of someone I used to know. Oh, haven't seen her for a while. I can't remember what you said, or what it is, or what it does, but it kind of filled a hole. There you go. You're muted, Mitch. You're muted.
Yeah, but you saw me smile, right?
Yeah, you bet.
Oh my goodness, that was, I love that song. I love that song.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely can relate. That is just a beautiful song. A lot of questions coming in. I think you've got a lot of fans out there, and hopefully some new fans. And CD. Where can people go to listen to your music? That's kind of what I'm hearing.
Yeah, cool. I mean, COVID. I was just starting into. I do have a CD that's about 10 years old on iTunes. Under my name, Anthony Small. It's called Love Half Off. But I was just going into the studio and recording this new set of songs, and got shut down, and they're not comfortable, in those close circumstances. It's a home studio. Sure. And so those kind of things are on hold. But, first off, let me say, if anybody that wants to learn more about Music Preserves, it's musicpreserves.org. And please contribute to us. It's, it's been a tough year not being able to have house parties and fundraisers, not being able to connect with the community at concerts, not being able to physically go into the schools and see those kids' eyes light up. And then for me, social media is the best way. Anthony Small on Facebook, and Anthony Small Music through everything else.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I still have dreams. When that song came to me in the shower, a couple of years ago, or at least the original incarnation of it, I just felt like it just came out of me. I actually had the opportunity to play it for my mother-in-law, and she was singing along at the chorus, first time ever hearing it, and she's awesome. It was amazing. I mean, so my dream is to be able to share that song. Maybe it'll be on a movie or a documentary or something along those lines. When we originally put the video up, I mean, the thing was shared hundreds of times, watched, like I think 9,000 times or something like that. And it's just that same thing, it just connects people and yeah,
I love that. B. Robinson said, awesome tune. Jennifer Thanks. Quinn sounds like such an amazing community. It is Jennifer. Jennifer's a good friend of mine, a live streaming and improv expert, who I took out to lunch when she visited Southern California. We introduced her to the family, and then she and I went down to the harbor for lunch. So she knows exactly what our community is like. So Jenny Q, it's good to see you, and thanks for your support. I will share that song out, that video out. I think you had it on Facebook, mistaken. Seems if I'm not mistaken, Anthony, but I'll put it in the show notes, or we'll link it up so that if anybody wants to listen to it, they can do so. And, there's another side to you that I think I'd like to chat about just quickly. And that is you also are a columnist for the Dana Point Times. Talk to us a little bit about, we have a lot of people in my community who are journalism majors. They love to write. They, things like this, what got you interested in doing that? How are you complementing that with sharing your music message on behalf of Dana Point? Maybe a little background, because I think that's fascinating, what you're doing. Yeah. So, I mean, this is, it's pulling in the exact same direction as the rest of the things that I do. The background behind that is, hold on for just one sec. Sorry. Yeah. Nice. We're good. You got to keep that instrument well lubricated, right? Jeez. I'm telling you, with all the feedback, everyone wants you to sing more songs. But you answer this question first.
Okay, and I'd love to sing more songs. So the background for writing, I always I'm horrible at math, always have been, but writing, I've been able to do that. I've also been lucky enough to feel like I can connect with people, and I like being able to document what's happening. And I had the opportunity in college, once again to write for the Daily Aztec, mostly sports. And to work for the radio station, again, mostly sports, broadcasting the baseball games and basketball games and those types of things. So I wrote a few articles for the Daily Aztec and always loved that. Wrote some opinion pieces, after college for various publications and those types of things. And, fast forward to, being in Dana Point, always loved, Picket Fence Media is Dana Point Times, San Juan Capistrano Dispatch, and San Clemente Times. And so I wanted to promote the arts and tell people about what kind of shows, were happening, whether it was at the Coach House in San Juan Capistrano, a legendary venue. And thank goodness that the independent venues are getting the support, thanks to the lobbying of various groups, Save Our Stages, etc. But I wanted to talk about the bands that are coming to town, the art shows. Certainly if my band was playing or the Arts and Culture Commission was going to be putting on a program, I wanted to be able to have that vehicle to mention that. And they were nice enough to give me an opportunity, and it grew. I had the opportunity to interview Amanda Shires, who is one of my favorite artists, like Americana artist, and she's married to my all-time favorite artist, Jason Isbell. Pete Salich played one or two of Jason Isbell's songs, but those guys, same thing, use their platform to help people to get registered to vote, social justice things. So that's what, so the column, it's kind of a every other month thing now. And it's called Dana Point Rocks, but, again, featuring those shows, talking about the live stream programs that are going on in the community. And even I had a chance, there was a new restaurant that opened up in San Juan Capistrano called Heritage Barbecue. And I wanted to welcome them, the culinary arts, right? And got a chance to, interview them and talk about, what they're trying to do in the community as well. And man, it's pulling the exact same direction. You know what I mean? So.
I do. It's interesting building out brands on social media, our businesses now because of social distancing. And I'm going to get to your questions, you guys. It's interesting because we encourage business owners, do a live video show, create a podcast, engage on Facebook, take advantage of Twitter. They're expanding their song, their music to different platforms. And you're doing the same thing here in town, whether it's on behalf of the city of Dana Point, whether it's your band, whether it's writing for the local newspaper, supporting local businesses. It all works together, I think, to not only build a brand, but also make the community a better place for all of us to live. And for that, we thank you, Anthony. Just real quick, we've got Stephen joining us from Scotland. Good to see you. B asks, do you know any covers?
Yeah.
So,
I'll be happy to play. But before you were talking about social media and those kind of things. And I was thinking to myself, man, Mitch, you know a lot about that. You should write a book.
The thoughts crossed my mind. Look at this, you guys. Wait a second. Let me take a picture of this. This is awesome. I love it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You are too kind. Yeah, there's the fun thing about that, Anthony, was getting 40 plus experts, right, to contribute chapters.
Yeah.
So I'm only good for one or two. I got my friends to write the good stuff. But what I'd like to do is share with everyone, if they want to reach out to you, people listening to just the podcast, so they're not going to read the show notes. They might be on a run down to the beach, working out. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you, not only on behalf of the city of Dana Point, but also the Music Preserves, also you personally? What are some different ways they can reach out and make contact with you?
Right. So email is ideal. Anthony at musicpreserves with an S, musicpreserves.org. Or Anthony Small Music at live.com. But the Music Preserves email is probably the best way, to get a hold of me initially, and then I'll reply, and you'll have my phone number, and we can, and we'll chat. That's, for me.
Is there a website that you want to send people to?
Sure. Musicpreserves.org. I hope that I mentioned that.
You did. But we have people joining us late. I want to make sure they know. Yeah. Music Preserves with an S.org. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And so sorry, I didn't mean to speak over you. There's Anthony and I are dealing with a slight lag here. So you guys just bear with us. We're doing the best we can. So what I'd like to do is anyone out there that's interested in music and interested in what we've chatted about today, reach out to Anthony and connect with him. If you're thinking about doing something like this in your community, in your town, informally or formally, I know he's kind of led the groundwork for what you need to do, what to do and what not to do. He's the guy you guys want to touch base with. But also, it looks like by popular demand, winding up the show and taking us off the air, it sounds like we're going to be able to talk you into one more song.
Oh no! Please don't make me sing.
We're going to twist your digital arm, and I think this is the way we want to roll into the weekend. You're going to leave all of us with a big smile on our face, and you guys, at the end of the song, we're gonna call it a day here on the show. But I'm going to hand the mic over to Anthony and let him help us finish up our week, continue to enjoy our journeys, and to continue to try to make each of our days a masterpiece. Anthony, it's all yours.
Okay. The one thing that I would say to anybody that's thinking about, writing music or thinking about getting engaged in their community, do it. Do it. You got to take those repetitions every time. It may not seem like it, but every time you do that, you connect with people that are pulling in the same direction. And so that's the high level advice that I would give is do it. So, dream big, do something about it. That's one of my philosophies, I guess. All right. Besides Jason Isbell, before Jason Isbell, my favorite artist is U2. As a matter of fact, this guitar is a Gretsch. It's Bono's. It's Irish Falcon. It's a Bono's version of the Gretsch White Falcon. So we're gonna play a U2 song. Someone asked for a cover. So here we go. I think that it's appropriate. Thanks again, Mitch, for the opportunity. All is quiet on New Year's Day. A world in white gets underway. I want to be with you night and day. Nothing changes on New Year's Day. Oh, on New Year's Day, I will be with you again. I will be with you again. Under a blood-red sky, a crowd is gathered, black and white, arms entwined, the chosen few. Newspaper said it's true. We can break through the whole torn in two. We can be one. I will begin again.